Welcome to Wisdom 2.0 2017. As you see, we have a new venue, and it is large. So we're going to spend about the next 20, 30 minutes with two goals in mind. One is to help us connect as a community, and two is to give you all the information you need so when you're meandering about, you actually know where to go. So for the next 20 or 30 minutes, that's our goal. But before we do that, I'm curious, could whoever has been here before or knows somebody who's here, that's a confusing question. If you came and you know some person who's here, please stand up so we can get a sense. How many of you came knowing at least one person? Okay, now please sit down. And how many of you came completely by yourself, not knowing anybody? Wow. Okay, so stay standing, stay standing, stay standing, stay standing. So those of you seating down, I want you to look around the room. And we hereby christen you Wisdom 2.0 ambassadors. And the goal is to welcome these people and make sure that they stay connected, they have at least one person they know. So thank you, and you can please take your seats now. In that spirit, please turn to the person to the left, to the right, behind you, in front of you, and just say hello and just make a connection for about 60 seconds. Great. So, next item. Just one other thing about that. Part of what we try to create is all of us help create a field where something happens. This is how I see it. So the energy and the spirit and the mindset and the presence with which you show up impacts the field that we create together. And that what actually happens on stage is largely impacted by the quality of presence that the people in the audience have and what they walk into. So our invitation and our encouragement is to do two things. One is to show up as fully as possible in whatever way that means to you. And I know you need to look at your phones at times and text at times, which is all wonderful. I'll be doing that sometimes too. But in general, just as much as you can show up fully, things will happen from creating that field together that would not have happened otherwise. The second is we're a pretty social group. So if you see somebody and they look interesting or curious, feel free to go and say hello to them, talk to them, reach out to them. You don't need to have any huge agenda. And the other thing is, you can come here with all kinds of different expectations and agendas, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to meet my mate, I'm going to find a new business partner, I am going to give 100 business cards away, whatever is going on. And so I've been doing this now, this is our 8th year. Yeah. And my strong encouragement is just to be open. And if you can just soften that agenda slightly, and know that something magical, probably beyond what you ever thought could happen, might be possible to happen, it creates such a better field. It creates such a better field. And it doesn't mean that you're wrong for having an agenda or wanting to find a partner or a business partner or whatever it is. But to the extent that can just be in the background and it can be softened and you can be here and be present and fully show up for each other, whether they look like they could be your partner or not look like they could be your partner, then something magical can happen. So I was on the Uber drive on my way here, and the guy asked me, he's like, so what is this whole thing you're about that I'm taking you to? And so I was telling him, and he's like, yeah, I've got this phrase, magical moments. And it's like, tell me about your magical moments. And he's like, well, every day there's a magical moment, and you can't find it if you're looking on your phone. You miss what's around you, and you miss your magical moments. So this is from Derek, my Uber driver. So I needed to relay that message onto you. That Derek, my Uber driver, he's a Uber driver, and he also is a Christian counselor and runs a youth group. And I invited him to come. I don't know if he's here, but so anyways, there is magical stuff that can happen, and so the invitation is just to be here and be as fully present as you can. So often conferences get designed many months ago, and so when we were dreaming this up 6 or 7 months ago, I was dreaming up a different political reality than we find ourselves in. And I thought the road was going this way, and the road took a sharp turn. I think it's fair to say it took a sharp right turn. And we kind of had to restructure the programming. There's a lot of change happening that I did not foresee. and a lot of us, I think, didn't foresee. And what can we learn from that change? And one of the things I've learned is not to get too many Democrats, Republicans upset, but I feel like our political parties don't serve us in coming together as a people. They largely focused on winning, and they're largely focused on campaigns, and they're not necessarily focused on how do we come together as a people and really have understanding and compassion and not just try to be right and make the other person wrong. So somebody has to do that, and it's probably not going to be the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. So somebody has to do that, so why not that be us? Why not we begin to foster what that path might be? And that's what I would hope for this conference, is like we really look at how do we develop our inner world and understand who we are and our own consciousness, and then how do we be present in the world and engage people, even those we think are not thinking like us. And how do we move beyond these barriers that I think are often created by media and by other institutions that don't really serve us. And I feel like we're in both a delicate and kind of a dangerous time, both in the US and in the globe. And the beauty of dangerous times is that we come out more, we show up more, we're asked to reach out more, we're asked to partner more, we're asked to collaborate more, because we realize we can't do this together. Nobody can do this. I mean, you can't do this alone. Nobody can figure this stuff out. So my hope with this conference and with kind of our response to the world situation is that we can all show up more and come out more and reach out more and bring more of who we are into the world. Because as Eckhart Tolle says, which I love, and I think is more true now than when he said it a few years ago, we only really have one choice. We either evolve or we perish. And I think we're all here because we are choosing to evolve. And that's my intention. That's why Wisdom 2.0 was created. How do we evolve and how do we live wisely within the context of this amazing digital age? So most of our presentations and talks and panels are going to be exploring that intersection and that partnership. It's our 8th year, as I mentioned before. We're in a new venue, too, so we're learning a lot. So we ask for your patience. If you don't know where something is, please reach out to somebody else. We're going to be learning a lot this first year. And again, I would really kind of invite you to make it your own experience. And there's a lot that's going on, and you can kind of choose how you want to navigate. And there's something that I wanted to say, and it's just on the edge of my tongue, and I can't quite remember it, but I'm sure it's going to come back. So as a way to connect, I could use some help in this introduction. So my job is to kind of introduce you, to say hello, and I need some help. So how do I get that help? So what we did is, don't do this now, but we hid 4 bars under 4 seats that are you. Now, before you reach under to see if you're one of those seats, you have 3 choices when you feel this bar underneath your seat. You can ignore it and pretend it's not there. 1 really good choice. 2, you can pick up the bar, raise your hand, and walk up here, and we're going to sit down and have a conversation with you. Or 3, you can grab the bar, look at somebody around you, and see if you can get rid of it. So take a moment now and just reach under your chair, and you'll feel like a bar. It's taped. Does anybody have one? You got one? Can you show them what it is? Okay, you want to bring it up? It's a macro bar. Can I see it? Thank you. So come and take a seat. So we should have several others of these. Oh, 2, 3. Take a seat, please. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the 4th, maybe nobody's sitting it. So oh, yes, I needed a guy perfectly. Hi, Soren. Great. Thank you. I don't need the bar, but you can sit down here. There was actually one more. Are you a 5th? Yep. Wow. Awesome. Thank you. You can take them back later. All right. I didn't know all of you were going to show up, so here's how the game is played. And at the end, the winner gets a bar. Basically, I want you to say your name, where you're from, and what in the hell you're doing here. Sean.
Oh, wow.
And you have about 60 seconds.
Okay. So, my name is Sean Harvey. I'm from New York. I work for Eileen Fisher. There you go. And And I am here because I'm on the journey, and I've been so much in my head, and now moving into the heart and then into the body, and really trying to get to a place of deeper consciousness and a different state of connectivity.
Beautiful. Thank you. And just a little caveat, all reasons for being here are okay. There's no not good reason to be here. So go ahead.
Hi, my name is Tony Trunk. I'm from Dallas, Texas. This is the second time I've been here, and I'm here with 3 of my amazing friends. I guess I'm here because I find that I'm an IT worker, and I find that there's some isolation that happens and some separation. And coming here, I see ideas that start integrating back in the human part, the spiritual part, the connectivity. And so I'm very interested in those things that bring us closer together while still having that technology world.
Beautiful. Thank you. Tony.
Hi, my name is Katrin Büßmann, and I'm from Munich in Germany. And I'm
What was your name? I'm sorry.
Katrin.
Katrin.
Yes. And I'm mainly here to learn and grow and to really connect to people who are kind of on a similar path. And I'm really exploring for myself how you can bring mindfulness more into the workspace.
Thank you.
I'm Anne Scott. I'm from Ireland, but I live in London.
Wow.
I'm here because I believe that we're all connected, and it's time for us to get connected and create the synergy and cohesiveness that I think we can bring to the world. I'm involved with a community in London where we're actually bringing consciousness and business together, and I want that to be a global connection.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Wendy, and I am from Oakland. God, I feel like, woo, go Oakland! I didn't travel as far as my compatriots here. I'm here for 2 parts. One, my personal part of just always wanting to be more mindful and more Buddhist, kind of a Buddhist wannabe. And then the second part is I have a company called Better Manager, helping people be better managers, which means you care about your people, you help them use their strengths, and spend so much time at work, we make it a better place. So I want to bring more mindfulness into that.
Beautiful. I'm looking at the time. I have questions for you, but I don't have time to ask them. So thank you so much for coming up and being willing to help me do this introduction. And know that all these people just represent one small piece of everybody else who's around. So thank you so much for taking the time. And you can take your bar. So next, I want to invite Emily. Emily is the founder of the Conscious Leaders Academy to come and join me, and she will be your MC for the weekend. And we will go over some logistics. Yes, welcome.
Great, thank you.
So we want to take a moment to look at the layout of the conference, if we can get the map up. We are currently in the Palace lobby, and you can see we have a teleprompter here, so that's what I'm looking at. We can, to make sure I don't miss anything. We can see that there is a viewing lounge here, the village stage, yoga, meditation, sponsors. You can get a sense. And this is also in your packet that you have as a copy of this map.
Cool. So, hello guys, how are you? So just to say that, as I'm sure you noticed, there are some amazing installations and art galleries and a viewing lounge that's broadcasting in the main stage at all times. And so this is in case that capacity is reached in this theatre. So if you can't get a seat here, you can go to the viewing lounge. We also have the People's Stage Theatre, tribe meetups, bodywork, and breakout sessions in a variety of lounges. So kind of like an adult's playground, basically.
Also located in the village is the village stage, which is here, and that is where a lot of the speakers who are on the main stage, after they're on the main stage, they'll go into the village stage, and that's just basically a Q&A with you most of the sessions. So if you want to go there, you want to engage directly, that's your chance to do that.
Great. And so we have located in the Palace lobby, we have the Wisdom 2.0 hub. So this is comprised of a bookstore, Wisdom 2.0 merchandise, and it's also where you can find out about any future Wisdom 2.0 events.
To go into these lounges a bit more, we've asked representatives from the 3 lounges that we have to come and join us and tell you a little bit about what's happening in their lounge. So we have 3 lounges. We have a Fetzer Conversation Lounge, we have an Eileen Fisher Embodiment Lounge, and a New Ventures West Integration Lounge. And so rather than us tell you about them, I will let a representative from those places, please tell you more about each of those lounges. Go.
Hi, my name is Christine, and I want to ask you a question. Are you comfortable in your body right now? Nice. Beautiful. Well, Eileen Fisher and her team invite you to get comfortable in your bodies at the Eileen Fisher Lifework Embodiment Lounge. There will be 10 talks and experiential presentations taking place over the 3 days that we will be together here at Wisdom 2.0. So come get inspired with wonderful thought leaders and master teachers such as John Kabat-Zinn, Jack Kornfield, Byron Katie, Zuleika, along with many other wonderfuls, and of course, Eileen Fisher. Yay! So please come join us and practice tuning into your internal world and experience the pleasure and comfort of connecting with your body. All sessions will be live streamed around the world, and the lounge is being offered in partnership with Conscious Company magazine. Our first presentation begins today at 3. Please consult your schedules for all our offerings, and the lounge is located right near the main entrance doors. Thank you.
She was so beautiful and smooth, and I wanted to do everything that she said, didn't you? I got a chance to talk to her before. She's quite an extraordinary and gorgeous human being. So New Ventures West has a lounge called the Integration Lounge because we find that what's going on in the world mostly is people don't feel integrated. We feel pulled in many different directions. Even within our own mind, part of us wants to be here and part of us wants to be somewhere else, and part of you wants to listen to me and part of you wants me to be done so you can get on to the important part. Our body wants to go one place. Our heart wants to go to a different place. So we're having 6 workshops that are about how do we integrate ourselves? How do we integrate our work with our purpose? How do we connect our body and our heart? How do we connect ourselves to other people? And we're doing something radical for such a venue, which is our workshops are longer. Which I know for some people will preclude the possible attendance by you. But we're doing workshops that are an hour and 45 minutes long because we want people to have a chance in the room to practice and to have a chance to ask questions and interact. So we're right across the hall from Christina's beautiful location, the Integration Lounge, and our schedule is the same place where everyone else's schedule is, so come by and see us. And the last thing I have to say is how marvelous that you got here and that you did everything that you had to do to get here. Isn't it something? And that somehow in this big and crazy world we found each other, which is also great.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Thank you, and James and Christine, and you Yeah, you know where they are. They're kind of right when you cut in, either to the right or to the left. Now, Jillian, our third lounge is the Fetzer Conversation Lounge, and Jillian, who is going to be up here to speak, is stuck in Minneapolis, and it comes in a few hours, so she has something for me to read. And I'm happy to do it. So I'll just take about a minute to read what they're about. The Fetzer Institute has been a longtime supporter of Wisdom 2.0. In fact, they were our very first sponsor 8 years ago when we were 300 people in a room in Silicon Valley. Their mission is to help build the spiritual foundation for a loving world, and their work has long been grounded by the conviction that the connection between the inner life of spirit and outer life of action and service in the world holds a key to lasting change. The long-term goal of Fetzer is to help catalyze and support a broad-scale, spiritually grounded movement that supports transformation from separation and fear to wholeness and love. Their vision is a time when people around the world embrace love as a guiding principle and animating force for living in sacred relationship with spirit, self, others, and the natural world. And this is a foundation, by the way. It's kind of strange to have love as a focus of a foundation. At Wisdom 2.0 this year, we are supporting the Conversation Lounge, where we will be hosting intimate dialogue concerning the heart of American democracy. We're going to ask, where is the love? We invite you all to participate in a survey to capture attitudes and opinions since the election and where you hold hope and see light, and we will conduct a series of conversations examining the inner state of our United States. If you were to describe the soul of America at this point, what might you say? How is our moral and spiritual health? How might we begin to heal, repair, build, or reimagine our civic lives in support of greater good? All perspectives are welcome, and your voice is very important. We will also be having various sessions with Lynn Twist, Rhonda McGee, and others to talk about this conversation. And you can see the schedule. Their schedule is is on the website and the app, and also in the brochure, I guess you call it, that's in your badge. So that is the Fetzer Conversation Lounge, and to get there, it's kind of right across from the village stage. So when you walk out, you'll see the village stage right in front of you, and then to the left, next to the cafe, is the Fetzer Conversation Lounge. So those are our three main lounges. Thank you for taking the time. We have a few more announcements from Emily, and then we'll start our first session. Right behind you, in front of you, and just say hello and just make a connection for about 60 seconds. Great, so next item, just one other thing about that. Part of what we try to create is like all of us help create a field where something happens. This is how I see it. So the energy and the spirit and the mindset and the presence with which you show up impacts the field. Welcome to Wisdom 2.0 2017. As you see, we have a new venue, and it is large. So we're going to spend about the next 20, 30 minutes with two goals in mind. One is to help us connect as a community, and two is to give you all the information you need so when you're meandering about, you actually know where to go. So for the next 20 or 30 minutes, that's our goal. But before we do that, I'm curious, could whoever has been here before or knows somebody who's here, that's a confusing question. If you came and you know some person who's here, please stand up so we can get a sense. How many of you came knowing at least one person? Okay, now please sit down. And how many of you came completely by yourself, not knowing anybody? Wow. Okay, so stay standing, stay standing, stay standing, stay standing. So those of you seating down, I want you to look around the room. And we hereby christen you Wisdom 2.0 ambassadors. And the goal is to welcome these people and make sure that they stay connected, they have at least one person they know. So thank you, and you can please take your seats now. In that spirit, please turn to the person to the left, to the right, that we create together. And that what actually happens on stage is largely impacted by the quality of presence that the people in the audience have and what they walk into. So our invitation and our encouragement is to do two things. One is to show up as fully as possible in whatever way that means to you. And I know you need to look at your phones at times and text at times, which is all wonderful. I'll be doing that sometimes too. But in general, just as much as you can show up fully, things will happen from creating that field together that would not have happened otherwise.